Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source. Well, boy, do I got to apologize. You know, when you have to do something for the first time, you can go through as many different practice runs as you want. And I inevitably was posting, well, long story. But let's get started here this week. I'd like to welcome everybody, the public, to this call. This is typically reserved for our paying Local Marketing Source members. And I'm excited today to bring it to the public, and I hope you guys enjoy some of this content so we get through it. But today we're going to be covering Facebook location dashboard, and I want to give, this is something I just experienced. It kept me up at night for the last couple of weeks. Very, very frustrating. Certain things to avoid like the plague. Next thing is Google My Business dashboard has got some enhancements to it in regards to appointments, reservations, and make sure that there's different ordering ahead types of content for that. And finally, is Google websites, are they a threat to the local agency? I'll be right back. Look at it right now.
Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter @ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/ScottPGallagher.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much, guys. Now, going over a few different things here. Before I really get started, I just want to give a little bit of some Cole's notes in regards to those members and those people that are watching that have never listened to these calls. We go through weekly updates for the industry, have a little discussion in regards to what's going on inside the LMS member group. What are we talking about inside of our premium agency growth group? I share some business tips, and then go over some of the updates and then answer any questions that you have. But before we get into some of that, I want to share a little bit with those that don't know a lot about Local Marketing Source and some of our local SEO philosophies, because we are a little bit different than most of the education that's out there. Now, let me first start telling you that I've been in this business since 2012. I graduated in the year 2000 with Bachelor of Commerce, specialty in marketing, and opened my agency in 2005 and been doing that since. In 2009, I opened Local Marketing Source, and I've taught thousands of students around the world local SEO and strategies. And some of these students, well, as a matter of fact, one of my students is in the Inc. 5000 in the United States. He's running, well, there's two of them, partners, and they are, they're building a little over $200,000 a month. They're a $2.5 million company with 28 employees located out of Miami. Fantastic. But a lot of students have gone on. And Local Marketing Source, the Google algorithms, they're constantly changing. They're looking at over 200 different factors to evaluate the authenticity of a website and the authority of a web page and a business and how they rank. And, SEO back in 2005, I could sneeze at getting 40,000 links to a website. And, within a few weeks, we can get a website ranked #1 in Google like that. But those times have changed. And you really can't game the system. So I don't even like the word SEO. I mean, I've got content that SEO is bullshit. It is a bullshit term. And search engine optimization really means manipulation. And the world of SEO, getting businesses ranked #1 in Google, is no longer a manipulation game. I say it's just marketing. Now, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my desktop right now. And let's go and take a look at a marketing definition. Here, just give me 1 second here. We'll hit that button. Boom. And I'll go over here. Boom. Marketing definition. And we're going to go to the American Marketing Association's definition. If you're not in America, this still applies. And it's real simple. Marketing is the activity, set of institution processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and enhancing and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Okay, marketing really is creating content and delivering that content to a target audience. It's really that simple. And that leads us actually over to our 3 pillars that we focus in on at Local Marketing Source. And That is content, profiles, and reviews. Now, content. Create content and get it out there. Here's a little tip for you. Don't cough into a microphone. One of the easiest, most authoritative ways to get a quote-unquote link to a local business is a press release, and send one to the local newspaper. You can go and do a search on Google and do a search for press release ideas. There's hundreds of them that are out there. Or encourage your customer. Here's an example of one that we just did is we encouraged a client to become a destination spot for the Salvation Army. Wrote a press release that this company is collecting donations for the Salvation Army, sent it to the local newspaper. They published it. This client got phone calls from patients that haven't been with them for 2+ years because they saw them physically in the newspaper. Very, very easy, highly authoritative if you're getting published. You can create press releases for both local publications as well as industry publications as well. Wonderful, wonderful way to create content. But content could be in the form of a video or social propagation. Articles, blog posts, press releases, emails. The list goes on in a variety of different ways that content be created. But you can't create content if you don't understand the fundamentals of marketing, Marketing 101. Let me tell you a quick little story here. And I was going to an internet marketing conference a couple of years ago, and there was all this rave and rant and excitement about this one presentation. And all right, I can't wait. I'm going to go and learn some new things and go and sit down with it. And I'd been in this business for a long time going, and the industry was just a flurry about this presentation. And go in there, and somebody starts talking about avatars, and the hell is an avatar? What's an avatar? What? I start to listen a little bit more, and wait a minute. They're just talking about basic customer segmentation. That's Marketing 101. That was some of the very first things we learned in school. First quarter of the first year of that degree, customer segmentation, and creating customer segments for that. And they've just relabeled it for our industry. And, this is what you got to do. You got to go and blah, 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 blah. And, well, yeah. If I'm going to write an article for a business, I should really know what's going on with that. I mean, I could take 2 chiropractors that are located on 2 different sides of the spectrum. This chiropractor here is all about working with the medical doctors and injecting their patients with a whole bunch of drugs to be able to support and let me crack your back after an accident. And then there's another chiropractor on this extreme over here that does an adjustment and injects the flow of Jesus Christ into the body. And the truth is most chiropractors really lie in the middle, and some are pain management and some are wellness care. Dentists are no different. Every business professional has got their particular expertise in certain areas and different types of customers based off of where you live. And so if you're going to learn about customer segmentation, you can segment that audience based off of a variety of different demographics. It could be based off of income level or location of where they are, or age or education, income, certain interests, certain needs. So at Local Marketing Source, we take a very fundamental marketing approach that when we are getting our clients listed number 1 on Google, we focus in on the 3 pillars: content, profiles, and reviews. You notice there's no citations there, right? Well, what's the definition of a citation? A citation is merely a reference. A citation for a local business is a web reference. So if I did that press release and it wrote, Johnny's Plumbing, 123 Main Street, Algonquin, Illinois, and then their phone number, that's what we call a NAP, name, address, and phone number, and that's a web reference or a citation of that business that's listed on that, and you get authority for all that. But in the local SEO industry, we call citations and citation management the acquisition of acquiring profiles. And there's a difference, because when I create content and I get that content published, I'm creating a citation. But I assure you that I'll have more authority for a local business if I'm published in a local newspaper for a press release than I am if I go and get a profile on Judy's book. But Judy's book happens to be in the top 50 of authoritative profiles. And my agency, we acquire between 15 and 20 profiles on a monthly basis regularly. So after 6 months, they've got 150 different citations. Catch me there? Citations, profiles. So be careful with that. And when we're talking about citations, it's merely a reference. And profiles, the second pillar, is the acquisition of all the Facebooks, the Yelps, the Judy's book, Angie's List, all these different sites that are out there, Yelps of the world. Okay, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And then finally, reviews. And that's going to lead me into my weekly local business tip of the week. It's, implement our RAP system. RAP. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived like... I'll stop there. I can't rap. I can't make a living off it. But I'll tell you what. I'll give a free membership to anybody that can tell me what song that came from. I told you this would be entertaining. I'm just having fun. So the RAP system, it's an acronym for a review acquisition program. And it's a program that we implement with all of our clients. And you see, it's a violation of the terms and conditions for Google, Facebook, Yelp to solicit reviews. I just had a conversation yesterday with a dentist in the state of Illinois, and the state of Illinois is really tough on dentists when it comes to patient testimonials. Don't solicit reviews, and don't put in a system that asks every single customer to leave a review. Now, let's get back to Marketing 101 again. There's a thing called a hero customer. Every business has hero customers. Most businesses, about 10% of their customer base are these hero customers. These are the rah-rah people. They absolutely love with what you're doing. And they're constantly telling you, good job. And if they come to you and say, Dr. Scott, my teeth are so white, I'm really happy with that. Wow, you just gave me a review. Do you mind digitizing that and putting that on the internet? That's not soliciting reviews. That's essentially what the RAP system does for local businesses. It also acquires email addresses, so it helps build an email marketing list for the local business. It's got follow-ups and tracking capabilities and reports and whatnot. This is a system that I give my members, and they just implement it to all their customers. But my point is a local business, every local business should have a review acquisition program in place, whatever it's there. Do not send it out to everybody. We've got to train the internal staff of our clients to identify these hero customers and encourage the hero customers to digitize with what they left. And that triggers this system to do that. Local business owners, anyone that's on the line that's a local business owner, if you're not an agency, get a RAP system in place for your customers. Agency owners, make sure you've got this package that you can go and easily implement it and drop it in. It's really straightforward. All right, so I'm bumping around a little bit here. What's going on in the Local Marketing Source member Facebook group right now? Well, things are starting to heat back up again. We're rolling into September. September typically is the best B2B sales month. So we're talking a lot of different sales and sharpening our skill sets in regards to that, which is going to lead me into what we were talking about in greater detail with the Premium Agency Growth Group. This is not a cheap program, but I work one-on-one with higher-end students to build the infrastructure, the systems, and procedures inside their agency so they can grow. And some of our students have actually grown to significant sizes. Like there's a Josh Nelson out of Miami. He was just recently profiled on the Inc. 5000 in the United States of America. He was number 1166. They're running a 28-employee, $2.5 million agency that was zero sales a little over 5 years ago. But that's an extreme. You can't expect that. My agency is not that size. I don't want an agency that size. I don't want to babysit 28 people. That's a whole nother conversation. But sales is really, really important. And, most people tend to go down the rabbit hole of sales and try the easy way. Go ahead, try it. But I'll tell you, there's three ways that I've learned over the last 12 years to get local business clients. Now, of course, there are probably 20 different ways, But there are 3 ways that work very, very well. And I don't want to get into details. I do a webinar on all of this. But the 3 different groups essentially are cheap, cost effective, very, very cheap or inexpensive, mid-range cost, and a higher range cost. So not everybody can just jump into the 3rd way or the 2nd way. So if you're just starting out, the first way is the least expensive, but it also so happens that the first way is the quickest way to get clients too. Number 3 is long, and essentially we're going to talk number 1 being old school. I'll talk about that today. Number 2 is direct mail. I'm not going to get into details today in regards to direct mail, but if you know anything about Dan Kennedy, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. And we send out our books. These cost me $2.31 to print over at Amazon. We use createspace.com. And I mean, a chiropractor gets this book, chances are they think Scott Gallagher knows something about internet marketing. And local marketing source members that are on the line right now, if you're an active member, you can go and download the Word document for this book and just change your name and put your name on it, take my name off. As a member, you've got the right to print it and give it away, but obviously not sell it. It's my content. You can't make money off of it. But what you can do is take it and print it and make your cover and then give these away to prospects. And then the 3rd way is industry engagement. And industry engagement is different speaking events and getting involved with a specific industry in different ways and offering value to them in different webinars. And so you've got to be fairly established before you have the right to get onto a stage and speak. So let's go back to the first way. I said old school. And people go, oh, well, First thing, you can go and pick up any business-to-business sales book, and I've got over 22 years of business-to-business sales experience. I've got quite a bit of B2B sales training as well. It goes back and constantly trying to do that. But there's one book that I want you to get. It's from Neil Rackham, and it's called Spin Selling, S-P-I-N. And spin selling, it's not spinning people around or being a good salesperson. S-P-I-N stands for solution, problem, implication, need, payoff. It's really a questioning technique. And I mean, I use it with my children. When I'm asking questions with my girlfriend, that's the process I go through is, it's really a relationship and a questioning technique that's very, very valuable. But on the other side of it, B2B, you may have heard of consultative sales or solution selling or whatnot. That's just, identifying a problem. And I just did this presentation for a white label client of mine. So I'm going to see if it's still in my PowerPoint here, and I'm going to pull up the sale process and share my desktop. But the point is the sale process starts once you get what's called an initial meeting. And to get that initial meeting is the hardest, most difficult piece of this business. And I don't want to scare anybody off. But let's face it, in 2017, these guys, these local businesses, they're being solicited left and right all over the place. You've got to be different. And obviously, walking into a business with a book is you're different than anybody else. So nothing replaces old school belly to belly. Nothing will. The internet, you can't. I mean, we can go back to different, hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or looking at the different factors of influence to influence human behavior. There's only 3 ways to influence human behavior: the words I say, the tone of my voice, and my physiology. Well, without getting into the whole details of it, let me just tell you that my physiology represents 55% of the weight to influence human behavior. So if you're talking to somebody on the phone or emailing them, you've already got that 55% taken away from you. It's a lot harder to say no to somebody face to face than it is over the telephone, especially as it is in email. So mark my words, if you're just starting out and you want clients, Go old school. And I've got a free app. You can go, well, I'm going to show you this video here. It's not a special video. It's nothing exciting. But it shows you a little bit about this app, and then I'll talk. Look at it right now. I am super stoked by this, and a few lucky people on the webinar are going to get access to this app for free. And what this app is going to do is it's going to find all the low-hanging fruit for you in your local area. We're just going to type in, let's try an industry like plumber here. Plumber. And I could put in any zip code, or I'll just hit this button right here, boom, and use my current location, and watch what happens here. Now what this does is this app finds and goes to Google and finds all the low-hanging fruit of all the local businesses. And we can see here it's ranked them, ranked them in order of distance from me and gives me information. So the very first one, the closest one to me, is 0.26, a quarter mile away from me, and they currently rank number 5 on Google, and they don't have any Google reviews. That's probably a low-hanging fruit. Let's go and check this one out. So we'll go and look at it. Okay, we can see my location. I can see, I haven't been there yet. Let's go and check out their website. Their website, it's not mobile compliant. Wow. All right, so there's some opportunities here. They're ranking number 5. They don't have much exposure. They don't have reviews. They've got a website that can use some updates. This is a place that I want to go and visit, and I'm going to go and visit them right now and say that either we acquired the card, but of course every visit that we have, we want to book it. And we're going to say owner, maybe owner was not in. Not in. Boom. Done. We save that status. Okay, it's been saved. Or, even before we actually go there, I'm taking a few steps ahead here. Let's submit this and get the driving instructions. And good old Google, it gives us our driving instructions directly from where we are. And we can even route it by using Google Maps. Check it out. I'll hit the back button. Now I'm back here, and now I can hit there and say saved status. Boom. This is great, huh? Let's go back. We see all of these. Now we can go and move from one to the other as we drive and do our door knocking. We can click right there, and boom, there's all the plumbing companies right on this app that I can go and I can click, and you can see it tells me the CC status, the cold calling status. We haven't been there yet. We can very easily go and identify and get all these low-hanging fruit. And once we get back to the office, boom, we export all of our data, and we can turn around and we can send this data and have it emailed to whomever we want. Boom. And now my activity has been captured for the day. We go back, we find that low-hanging fruit. Let me just give you a couple of different numbers here of what we've been seeing with this app that's going out there. You should be able to visit 20 different... We're working on a second version of that app right now. It's a lot of fun, but I'm going to show you my desktop right now. You can go and get it. You can run over. The app's called Local Sales Prospector. Just do a search in Google, and whether you've got an Android device or you can go to the Apple Store too. Look at Google's not showing the Apple Store result for it, but it is available on Apple. It works tested on the iPhones and all of that stuff. Now. This is what we're talking about for those people that are starting out, and those members I have in our premium group typically are just starting out, and there's no quicker way. And if you're walking into these businesses and you're prepared and you offer value to them, you're establishing your authority with your book when you're walking in, and all you're asking for is that initial meeting. If you get that initial meeting, that's all you are trying to sell when you walk in that door. And mark my words, we're over 50%. My ratio is over 50%. What that means is contact to initial meetings booked. And if I meet with 10, if I get to talk to 10 chiropractors, I may have to go and visit 30 businesses to talk to 10 chiropractors. That's a good ratio, 30%. And if I talk to 10 chiropractors, I'm going to book 5 meetings. If I have, for every 3 meetings that I have, I'm able to close one of those clients. So, you know, I teach the numbers are to have something in somebody's head that if you took 4 or 5 hours out of your day and you went and visited, and it was planned to go and visit 30 businesses, you use an app like this that you can instantly get the information to how many reviews they have, to where they're ranked, and you walk in and you say, look, and I did some research on you, you guys, you know, blah, 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 blah. I want to show you some further research on this, and I want 15 minutes of your time. How does next Tuesday at 1 o'clock sound? Over 50% of the times, you get the meeting. So if I need more clients, you know, I just get my feet out there and or salespeople. I've worked with salespeople several times in the past. Right now, my business, I don't have any salespeople with my company. I'm doing white label work for a couple of different businesses that are out there, which is something I could do for you if you wanted. But the problem with white label for you, not for me, it's great for me. But white label for you is you're essentially just a sales organization, and you don't really take ownership of clients. It's not a good business model. It's not a business model I would start for myself. But that's, you know, neither here nor there. We will. So, ooh, wrong display. Boom. I don't think I do a whole. I've got 7 different hours of training just specifically on this particular process inside my membership. So I just can't obviously talk about it all. But you get that analysis and the process to go through the analysis where I said, you know, the B2B sales. Create the pain. And once you've created the pain, there's that slide. Pain create the pain with the prospect, and you demonstrate that there is business on the internet, and prove to them that the competition is beating them. That's pretty easy. Throw some salt on the wound and agitate that wound. Prove to them that there's some lack of online exposure. And how do you do that? Well, that would be the citations reports, ranking report, and obviously during the meeting, you know, you provide your relief and hold their hand and say, oh, we can go and do this, et cetera, et cetera. But I see one of my longtime students is on the line. Scot Meadows. Somebody's asking about printed copy of the book. It's available on Amazon. Nice to see. Well, I don't see you, Scott, but nice to have you on the line. I'm really frustrated with what's going on with this thing on my screen because this Facebook Live, you know, this is all relatively new to me, so I apologize. I'm trying to do some of the testing. And then, yeah, I think that's good enough for that. Now we can get into some of the updates for the week and get into any questions if anybody has anything. And well, I want to share a little story with you. And a lot of you may know that Facebook has now launched something called a location feature, where you can take and follow with me here. You can take a local business page that exists, you request to Facebook to add the location features on it, and when they grant that, what they do is they then separate that page into two, so you now have a location portion of it and a brand portion of it. That makes a lot of sense for businesses that have multiple locations. But I want to warn you, because Facebook does not have all their shit together, and it created a significant problem where I had to complain enough for my client because we messed enough stuff up for them that Facebook gave me a call, Monday, and asked me about this business model that was going on. Now let me explain a little bit. That if you've got a location page that a business has built up for 3, 4, 5 years on Facebook, Facebook launched this location feature, you want to implement the location feature and start to add that, or you may have multiple location pages for all your other locations and bring it together into one account and have one brand page. That makes a lot of sense, right? And think of a well, you've got this one page, and you've got a car dealership that has 2 or 3 other locations, and then they go and separate it. Well, what happens is all the content all the reviews and all the likes from the page move over to the location page, but all the posts and likes for the posts and comments stay on the original brand page. It's separating the content. Now, when I was discussing with them, they said, well, think of a car dealership. And they went through the scenario, and I said, you know what, you're right. That entirely works for a car dealership. And I said, you know what else? I said, this also works for a business that's trying to build a national brand that opens up their second location. But it doesn't work for a business that has a national brand, has a certain a particular web page for that brand, and now starts to implement local SEO and needs to get all these different profiles and things that are out there, turns on the location feature, and it separates all the reviews. Well, now you've lost all the reviews over to that particular brand. How does that jive? And they said, well, every local business that has location should be managing their own brand within their own particular location. And I wanted to say, what, you a dumbass? I mean, you're supposed to be a Facebook goddarn engineer. You guys are supposed to be some of the smartest people on the planet. You're such a dummy for even considering that. Let's look at this scenario. Obviously, I didn't say that. But I got heated. I was just banging my head against the wall and going, WTF? So you've got a Apple is a good example for this, with the Apple stores and whatnot. That Apple wants to manage their own products, and if somebody's leaving a review on how the iPhone particularly works, Apple's a big example, but you wouldn't want to go and see the review for an iPhone 6 at a particular location. You may want to learn about how the service was for that location, but not how the product or the brand of that product was, right? So what I'm saying is, if you've got clients that have multiple locations today, make sure you thoroughly understand Facebook's current infrastructure on what you can manage and what you can't manage when that separation happens. Because once it happens, you can't go back. And I've wasted so much and my energy in the last 2 weeks with this, and going back and forth with Facebook. They don't have phone numbers you can call. I do now. But make sure you understand the real implications. It's frustrating on all that. I wrote down, careful sleeping with elephants. Is Google websites a threat to the agency? Google just launched the ability to make websites for local businesses, and there's been a lot of hoopla within the SEO industry that this is killing the agency, and Google's trying to go and kill the agency. It couldn't be more wrong than that. My company is not an SEO company. We're an internet marketing company that does local SEO, and we do it through marketing initiatives. I study and I read about consumer behavior and buying behaviors and segmentation and all these different facets of marketing. I learn about the different writings of styles. I take copywriting courses. I take email writing courses. The list just goes on in regards to the further education I bring to myself as a marketer. The different video courses that I've gone through to learn all my video editing skills and the equipment and all of this type of stuff, okay? Google is not going to replicate that. A business owner or a good marketer, you can't replace the process of understanding people. And that's what marketers have to do through the segmentation process, is understanding behaviors and then creating that content that's relevant for them. So granted, Google's got this great infrastructure to build websites, but where's the authority with that? A good website is going to have good content that resonates and is propagated effectively to get traffic to it. It's like my neighbor here in this building. Well, They were my neighbor. They weren't here long. And these young kids are coming in and they're like, hey, you want to build us? Can you build us a website? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. It's going to be $4,000 or $5,000. Oh, we were thinking $200, dude. 60, 80 hours worth of work that goes into a website. No. You better rethink that. And they said, okay. So they came back 2 weeks later and they said, do you mind helping us? We're building our own website. Can you guide us? It's no problem. We're outside having conversations and whatnot. And I asked some questions. I said, you're building an e-commerce store to sell shoes. And you don't want to sell them on eBay because you don't want eBay to take their cut of 30%. So you wanted to build your own infrastructure and your own e-commerce site to resell shoes. I said, okay. Where's your traffic going to come from? Well, our friends, word of mouth. You don't build it and they come. It doesn't work that way. So I'm sorry to the SEO industry. I wholeheartedly disagree. I'm not going to name names, but there's zero threat to the agency with this new Google website tool. Google has also expanded, just like my Facebook story. Facebook is going to take a long time before they get to where they need to properly manage a local business. Google's been at it for 8 years now, since 2009. And even more recently, they're continuing to add features to it. I think Google, what they want to do for a local business, remember those strip malls that every business in the strip mall had the exact same looking type of sign? And so the strip mall looked nice and pretty. I don't know how many of those were in the United States, to be honest with you, but it was a very common thing in Canada. When I came to the United States, there's a lot more flashiness when it came to advertising all around. Everything from billboards to signage inside of people's buildings. They use a lot more colors, a lot more reds and yellows and blues and bright colors, to get into your face. And they're kind of ugly. Well, the internet's a lot of the same right now for local businesses, that they can adopt different POS systems, different review systems, customer management systems, inventory systems. And all of these systems try to talk to one another, and business owners are consistently getting frustrated by these communications. And then you bring in a marketing layer into that with email marketing and social media propagation. Then you bring in other technology to create different types of content, video content, and it gets really messy, just like some of those strip malls for those businesses. And Google, what they're trying to do is make everything together nice and clean. And so now businesses can integrate directly from Google, and you can set appointments. So this would be good for dentists, chiropractors, attorneys, utilizing the Google infrastructure integrated into your Google website or your own website. Reservations for restaurants, car rentals, rental things, hairdressers, salons, and all of that. And you don't even need a web page or a website, to utilize some of these functionality and these features. So you can put your phone down and save yourself a little bit, or order ahead. You can load your menu if you're a restaurant right into Google and have people order and utilize their payment gateway system. So there's a lot to know. And that's why the agency model, in my opinion, is still highly, highly valuable. Because it's you guys that are coming on calls like this and getting updates. It's you guys that are going out and getting the education and the research on an ongoing basis onto how to engage with customers. That's going to get you where you need to go. So that's it. Sorry for starting 15 minutes late. I was broadcasting on another page. Again, the darn Facebook system. It said, okay, you want to broadcast on a local marketing source page? Yes. You want to broadcast as local marketing source? No, I want to broadcast as Scott. Boom. 15 minutes into my delivery and went, huh. I'm not even broadcasting on the local marketing source page. I was broadcasting on my page. So, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to a party. Have a great week, guys. For any members, I will be communicating with you in the next week as to where this call is going to be. It's not going to be on the public page. It will likely be right back into the private page. Thanks.